guys, Marty Schwartz here from Marty Music, hanging out with my good buddy and harmonica master, Isaac Corbitt.
Thanks for having me, man.
We met jamming with High Fade together.
Yes.
Another awesome band.
And an awesome
great
night.
Guys.
Super killer.
You're a great guy. They're great guys. I mean, it doesn't always happen, but it sure is nice to play with good players who are also good dudes. And you fit both of those.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
I feel the same way about yourself, man. You know,
thanks, man.
Especially living in Nashville, you know, you kind of get the best of both worlds here.
People said I'm the Isaac Corbitt of guitar.
Yeah, that's funny because everybody's telling me, they're like, oh, I put out these how to play harmonica, and they're like, you remind me of Marty Schwartz. And I'm like, thank you. Best compliment ever.
No, you're ripping, dude, ripping. And we both share the kind of like early blues traveler influence that got me into playing music. And I know, obviously, we talked about that, so that's really cool. But I thought this video particularly would be awesome to just go over some harmonica basics. As you know, so many people have a harmonica lying around.
Oh, yes.
A lot of guitar players have a harmonica in their case.
Mm-hmm.
They got the Bob Dylan straight ahead thing that you can kind of just blow and suck on that and you're in the right key. You're Neil Young or Bob Dylan. But then you have this more, you know, precise kind of blues and rock style that you really, you know, are really talented at, and you need to build chops up to be able to do that.
For sure.
And most people have a C harmonica, right?
Yep, that's the most generic, for sure.
This will be good for us,
yeah,
for this video, because the average person out
C
there.
C is what I like to teach on just across the board, because A, it's easier, it's more accessible to get a C harmonica, and B, almost every guitar player, or I'd say any instrumentalist at all, they all usually know how to play in G.
Yeah. So what that means is the C harmonica, the notes inside is the C major scale.
Correct.
And so if you play that over a G7 chord, and now G is the root of that scale, it's called cross harp, right?
Yeah, cross harp or second position. There's multiple ways and positions of playing a harmonica, which I'm not going to nerd out on it because I have no clue what they are. First position is just blowing in and out, drawing, and then second position is treating it more like a guitar and picking it.
And you get, when you play a C harmonica over a G blues, because blues is a great way to start with all of this cross harp second position thing.
100%.
What you get with a C major scale over G on guitar modes, it'd be called G mixolydian. Don't have to worry about that. But you get a G7 chord. So you tell me what you're doing there to do that.
So you can just hit one note at a time. I'm actually, when I do this kind of stuff,
you're inhaling.
That was me blowing out.
Oh, okay.
And I'm blowing out, so I have my tongue over the 4 and 5, and I'm blowing on the 3 and 6.
Okay.
So with the tongue blocking, instead of going or I'm going.
Yeah,
so I get the high and the low. It's kind of like playing an octave on here.
But if you just inhale into the kind of like middle, lower, you kind of get that.
Yeah. So keep that going, and I want to show everybody, because since you're in G, I'm going to do that on a G harmonica and see how.
Doesn't sound right.
Doesn't sound right. That's the difference in the first and second position.
So you get that dominant 7 sound that you get with blues.
Yep.
But because it's a C harmonica, when you go to the 4 chord in the blues, C7, you still got that. I'll stay here.
Yep.
So it's very bluesy then. So obviously you need skill and you got to practice and learn licks and all that. But the good news with harmonica is, at least scale wise, you don't really have any like really bad notes to accidentally hit.
That's the thing. When you're playing second position, you really do. You really have to watch out. So if you're in G and I'm playing on a G harmonica, there is no bad notes. It's just like you might not be playing along with the chords that you're playing it.
Sure.
But on the C, there is would be like black notes on the piano. There's off notes that you can hit.
Well, play me a bad note.
Okay, go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah, you know what I mean? There's ones but it's...
So I guess what I'm saying is there's no...
Right, yeah, there's not too much of that. Yeah.
I mean, bad.
No, there's not too much of that.
So there's wrong, like, not strong notes.
For sure.
There's weaker notes, but
the only
scale-wise, you're not...
Scale-wise, when you're in that key. So now if you're playing in D and I'm using a C harmonica, it's all going to be bad.
Sure, so let's do that.
Yeah. You're in G. So you
no, we're still hearing it because the D is the 5 of G.
Okay.
So actually, here I'll do it. We'll change it. I'll play B flat blues.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
Let's fix that.
Woof. Yeah.
Gonna ride you out like a wave. Gonna ride you out like a witch on a broom. Gonna land in something. All right, here we go. Oh, crash burn, when will I learn? Crash burn, when will I learn? Harmonica is really an ear instrument because you're listening and you can't even see. Like guitar, you're learning, you're looking at.
That's probably like one of my main things I try to explain to people. Harmonica is one of the only instruments in the world that does not have a button to press. It does not have a string to press. You're relying on your throat muscles, your tongue, and your lips, your embouchure, to achieve bending these notes and hitting these certain notes. That's why when I'm teaching harmonica, it's really hard that people can't see inside my mouth.
Sure.
Because they're like, I hear you doing that sound, and I'm trying to do that sound, but I can't get that sound.
But even if they could see inside your mouth, it's not going to help much.
It really wouldn't help much.
It's going to be kind of gross, actually.
Yeah. So it's hard to teach. It's one of those things, but it's also not hard to learn. I feel like it's one of those, like when you're trying to show somebody, it's difficult, but if you have it in your hand and you're listening, I think a lot of it is, like you said, it's the ear.
Yeah.
It's the ear. It's hearing something you're playing. Like the first time when I picked up a harmonica and any of it made sense or made me even want to play harmonica, it was just like I had a C harmonica and I had it in the center console of my truck that my father had bought me from a little Cracker Barrel. It was just a little $5 harmonica. And I heard a Doobie Brothers song, Long Train Running.
Yeah.
It's that Without Love.
Oh, yeah.
And I heard that harmonica part go out, and I was driving down the road, and I was like, oh, man. And I went and I found this C harmonica, and I started tooting along. It wasn't perfect at all, but a few of these notes that I hit were the same notes he hit. And all day at work, I just could not stop thinking about it. I was like, I want to play harmonica. I think I could teach myself that. And I went, after work, I went and bought, that's when people were buying CDs. I went and bought that CD, and I must have rewinded that thing like 2,000 times.
So they playing a C harmonica on that song?
Yeah, the harmonica part is.
So is it in E minor?
Yeah, technically E minor.
Or is it D minor maybe? I think it's...
Well, I know a lot of people play it in like G or E minor. It's one of those weird chords because the whole song in general doesn't sound that good without it. If you're out or if you're in a different key. I've played it with multiple bands, and then I have to sit there and I'm going through a box of harmonicas. Like, what key are they?
Yeah.
Now I have no clue.
They probably didn't know either.
Yeah,
they're like, that one sounds good.
Yeah, they're like, this is what sounds good for my voice when I sing it. So.
Well, let's talk about the G blues using a C harmonica still. And you're a harmonica teacher now, and we're gonna have links down below for your website. You've got harmonica, guitar lessons for harmonica.
Yeah, I'm the Marty Schwartz harmonica.
My mouth just says guitar lesson, but I meant harmonica lesson. So, we've got links for all that. Let's talk about like, 2 or 3 very beginner blues harmonica techniques that we can talk about right now.
For sure.
Give people a little taste, so if they really get into it, they can go and check out your products and your lessons.
I really, A, I appreciate you putting that on there.
Yeah,
and
man.
B, I really feel like it's like anything. You can't learn C and D until you learn A and B. So like if anyone is watching and they want to pick up the harmonica and they want to get some joy out of it, like I did, it's good to know how to hold it. You know what I mean? Because it does make a big difference, and a lot of these accents on these notes and stuff is because how I hold it. So if you are right-handed, like I'm right-handed, I hold the harmonica in my left hand, and it's positioned in between my thumb and my pointer finger, just like this. And then I kind of make like a salute like this, and then I cup my right hand behind it, and I hold it here. And I know some people got larger hands or smaller hands. It doesn't really matter. It's just trying to find something that feels more comfortable to you. There's no real right and way to do anything. It's just whatever feels comfortable. So I try to get it like that. And the reason we do that is like almost like I try to think about like keeping a tennis ball of air inside of here at all times. So when you just, even if you just like, I'll just breathe in on the 4.
I'd love to green screen a bunch of birds landing on you.
My shoulders. So it's like one of these things where you can, it helps with your tone. It helps like accent. And pulling away from it. It's almost like a hammer on the guitar.
So that was inhaling on 4?
That was just inhaling on the 4, the 4 hole. And that's another thing to tell people, when you have a harmonica, this is a 10-hole diatonic harmonica. So that being said, I know a lot of people may have a harmonica sitting at home and it may have 20, 30, 15 holes, could be different. But anything that has a 10 holes on it is a diatonic. And usually they have the numbers starting from left lowest up to right is the highest, 1 through 10. So that's a good guideline on how to like judge how you're playing. And there's awesome websites like harptabs.com that you can go on, and it just shows you which holes to blow and draw in. And that's a cool way to learn a bunch of tunes as well. And then as far as learning singled notes, because when most people grab a harmonica for the first time, they just
bunch of holes, yeah.
You want to get to here. You want to get to where you can grab one note at a time and just breathe in and out. So that's like another fundamental thing, because when it comes to playing the second position cross harp style, it's kind of like a guitar picking instead of strumming chords. So it's more of one of those, you need to learn to single notes. So if you know how to hold it and you can get to where you can single notes, then you can get to where you can learn it.
Let's go back to the very first thing you talked about, where you were tongue blocking and blowing into, what were the holes you were blowing into?
You can do it all up and down the harmonica. It really doesn't matter. You can take any 4 holes and then just block the middle 2 with your tongue. So if you got 1, 2, 3, 4, your tongue's over 2 and 3, and you're just blowing out of 1 and 4.
So if I'm just playing a vamp on the...
See how I get that natural bend? Because one of these is getting bent lower than the other one, so it's causing that whoa, 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 and I finally got to where I can control that and make it whoa, 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 and slow that down. So it's kind of like a natural chorus effect on it.
Okay.
And I really like playing these, people call them octaves. I guess technically a lot of harmonica players that know a lot of theory are like, it's not an octave, but it's kind of, you're taking the same note, just the lower and the higher of it.
Oh, unison.
Yeah, or you can call it playing chords, tongue blocking, some people can call it. There's a lot of names for it, but you're just taking the 2 same exact notes and you're playing the high and the low of it. Yeah.
Or
instead of...
Oh, so you're getting the holes on the sides and blocking the middle.
Yep.
So you're actually blocking the middle and hitting
my tongue
both
is
sides.
blocking the middle, and I'm hitting both sides of that.
Yeah, and so that actually is octaves, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how I'm able to get that natural vibrato and stuff on some of these.
Gotcha.
On my course, I have like 7 different ways of trying to bend.
Okay.
And a lot of it's like vocalization things, like how the shapes of your mouth when you say certain things, or when you try to whistle, or when you try to do certain things. And the EU really works, but you got to think you're bending. So I also like to tell people you can kind of cut the harmonica in half, right here in between the 5 and the 6. You bend drawing air in, you bend them down, but from 6 and up, you bend them by blowing out. So it's kind of like this side, the bottom side of the harmonica, the lower side, you bend them down. You draw them in, and then on the top side, you're focusing your air breathing out in order to bend those. So you can't just do the same thing down here and try to bend up here. It'll mute the reeds, like you just little bit. It's like, it's like a dog whistle at that point.
So another thing is if you're, and the bend on that 4 is inhaling or drawing, and then you can go right next door to the 5 while you're still inhaling and get this kind of.
Yep.
Look at that.
Yep.
So let me play the blues, and you just stick with those 2 little holes for a minute.
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, only if you want to.
Yeah. Oh, I'm telling you, I'm down. I'm here for the party. So that was without bending. This is just without bending. So now I'm going to bend on this next. And that's going up to the 6 hole. I'm going down to this 4. Yeah. So that's just predominantly the 4 and 5 hole. And then I grab the 6, which was
like back and forth on the 4 and 5 inhale.
Yep, you can do what they call a trill.
Okay, let's hear that.
And again, that's another thing. Once you learn how to do single notes and you're comfortable with a single note, that's literally just pushing. You never stop the same breath. You're not like, you're never blowing out. You're just keeping the same breath, airflow in, and you're just literally sliding the harmonica. A lot of harmonica players like to use their head. My head's been knocked around too many times. I don't like to do that. I got a lot loose. I got enough loose screws in there anyway. So I just use my hand. There's also different types of harmonica. I specifically play plastic combs. A lot of people, and a lot of ones you'll buy in the store, the Marine bands and the Blues MS series and stuff. And all these that I'm talking about are from Hohner. So these are, I played the Blues MS and the wooden ones for a long time, but it would kind of it would rub my tongue raw. The more there's just a wooden, and when it gets wet, when wood gets wet, you know what I mean, moisture, it likes to swell and stuff. So it just feel this I don't know. I wasn't a fan of it. I know a lot of people are, and there's nothing against it. Like I said, just make sure you try stuff, and if it feels good to you, go with it. If it doesn't, try something else. Because don't get stuck and be like, oh, I don't like to play harmonica, it hurts my mouth.
Right.
Because I know people that have said, a lot of people have said that to me, and I'm like, oh man, you should try a different one.
Yeah. What's the lowest harmonica you've got?
See, there's
We
low.
covered G now, so
Yeah, there's like low harmonicas, and then I have low tuned harmonicas. Like this is a C. This is a C low.
Okay, sorry.
In G? Yep.
Yeah. So how did, I mean, obviously you listened to that song because you were just playing some of the licks. Was that just playing along to those records to get some of those licks?
Yeah, it's playing along to the records, and it's also.
Did you ever slow them down?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Get on YouTube, playback speed.
Just checking.
Slowing them down. I had to slow them down because all this stuff really fast seems so intimidating. I was with another local real good talent here in Nashville, and she's a younger chick. She's like 16 years old. And
Kiersey.
Yeah, Kiersey, and she was really wanting to know like how to do.
Oh, I know people.
Some of these. I'm sure you do. I just didn't. I don't know if she wants to be associated with me.
Yeah, no, I pay attention to harmonica players for sure.
Yeah, and she wanted to know how to do some of the higher end stuff on the higher end of the harmonica, and she wanted like lessons on playing faster. And I was kind of explaining to her like all this seems so intimidating until you slow it down, and it sounds like a nursery rhyme.
Right.
And it just almost sounds petty at that point. Like when I play a lick slowed down for people I'm teaching them, they're like, no, I want to learn that thing that you played that's fast. And I'm like, this is what it is.
One thing I noticed that's a repeating like motif in that style is like a blow and then 2 inhale holes, like
Yep.
It's and then the opposite.
It's what I like to call
blows.
breathing patterns.
Okay.
It's a super unnatural way to breathe.
Can you show me a few examples?
Yeah.
You can go slow. I mean, like.
So even that. So I'm going draw, blow, draw, blow, and I'm starting from like the 8, 7. So 8 draw, 7 draw. So that was in particular it's just 2 holes you're doing that on, and you're just draw, blow. You know, you're like draw, and then blowing on the 7. I just got to give a lot of accolades to John Popper, man. He's been a huge influence in me, and like his music is very different than most harmonica players, and he catches a lot of flack for it. You know, all the old school blues players, that ain't no harmonica, that's just a bunch of notes, but he's super melodic. He plays it like a flute or like some other type of instrument.
Anyone that innovates or does something different is always going to get a bunch of crap.
True.
And also, if they get really successful, they're going to get a bunch of crap.
I get a bunch of crap from people doing the hip hop thing, and I have and instead of melodic, I have a more rhythmic.
I like that.
And it's a more rhythmic because I think about it like a drummer, like tickety-tickety-doo, ta-ta-ta.
Yeah.
So it's like I play her like that, and then people are like, "That's just racket, that's noise," and I love it when they say that because I really feel like I'm doing something different at that point.
I love it.
Because the younger generation's like, "You can do that on a harmonica?" Like, oh God, I want to buy a harmonica. And it's like, that's my whole goal is to like, it's not an old person's instrument anymore. Like it can be used very versatile for different styles of music. Once again, this is a C harmonica, and these are Hohner Rocket amps I'm playing, for any of those that are wondering.
And you're going through a guitar amp right now.
Yeah, I'm going through you can use any amp. I am going through a guitar amp, and there's no settings on the amp that are really on. I have a pedal board that I usually like to run. I have gotten in the habit here recently, these last few years, of not playing a lot with pedals because I found myself relying on them. And then when I get to a gig and one would be out or a chord's out or something, and then I would just get all in my head and not want to play because I didn't have my pedals, and that really bothered me. I was like, so I worked on my acoustic sound of just playing just the harmonica, but it is fun, and all these pedals are guitar pedals. I mean, I only have one on here right now that was made for a harmonica, but
and that's like a sound buffer.
Yeah, it's a noise gate.
Yeah.
So if I'm having feedback on stage because I have distortions on, that'll just cut signal while I'm not using it.
And you've got a volume control on the mic.
Yeah, this is from blowsmeaway.com. This guy makes these mics, and it was a Beta 57. Actually, this was the 540. I have the Beta 57 version of this.
It looks like a 57 in there.
It is, but it's a 545.
Okay.
Or 575, whatever those older. It's
and
got
also,
an older
it's cupped in there
it.
to give it a
This is what they
tone,
call the bulletizer. Because just this mic without it so skinny, just holding that mic was hurting my hand, making my hand cramp. So they have this feature called a bulletizer to make it almost like a green bullet. So that way you can hold it and it gives you more of like a surface area to kind of grab onto. Okay. And it's contoured, so like I don't have to worry about, like, you know, if you've had a couple drinks, it's easy to just drop the mic. And these mics are kind of sensitive. And then it's got aircraft aluminum, and you put a volume control on it. So, you know, as far as just the mic, it really doesn't do anything to your sound. So then you can control. So all that is just a volume control in there. And then the pedals just comes with what sound you want to have. And it's just toys. You don't need it, but it's fun. So I personally use a chorus pedal a lot. And you know those octaves we were just talking about? I almost always use it with that. So I got into a point where I've always been really fond of reggae, and I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, right near the beach and everything. And it was, you know, reggae was a heavy presence down there, as was Southern rock and everything. But I was just obsessed with these keys players doing that skank, that ooh-akku kind of effect. And I was like, man, I really want to like learn that on a harmonica, because when I would sit in with reggae bands and you're just playing like country sounding harmonica, it was like, it didn't clash, but it just wasn't right. So you can play those octaves with. So with that chorus pedal, so here's without it. And when you do those octaves with it, it kind of gives it that organ feel, that kind of Leslie feel. And then there's an octaver, a bass octave. Not many people in the harmonica realm run a bass octave. I originally started running it, so it would fill out the bottom end. The harmonica doesn't have much bottom end to it. Even that's kind of tinny, and coming through, so depending on what amp, or if you're direct into the PA, it's just, it doesn't have the oomph behind it that you want. So I would have a bass octave and I would turn it lower. Well, I'll leave it up so y'all can hear the difference, but. So if I'm doing something without it, like, or. That's like that different, it just gives you that bottom end on it, and I have it set to a certain octave. And you just play around with them and see what you like and what you don't like. And then the one I use the most is the digital delay pedal. It's a Boss DD5. I like just having that to where I can accentuate notes. I'm a real big fan of like the Allman Brothers and guitar players and jam bands and stuff where the dynamics, they'll just be rocking out and then they get soft and low, and it's like this dreamy sound, and I wanted to be able to have that on the harmonica. And so I really mess with the delay a lot. That's also like when the levee breaks. You know what I mean? He had a delay on that when he was doing that. Yeah.
What's the kind of more rhythmic hip hop thing you do?
I grew up on hip hop, I grew up on rap and a lot of it, and kind of one of those that never left me. And then, but no one's ever stuck it harmonica in there. Like it doesn't belong. I mean, Outkast put it in like Rosa Parks song in the end, but like that was almost like a blues breakdown during a rap song. But like no one ever kind of put it. So it was like I started, the first one I ever put out was a video of me playing harmonica over a Roddy Ricch song called The Box. And it's like just going with the beat of the drums or the drum pad or whatever it is, which kind of led me to start like beatboxing with the harm. You know, like doing some beatbox stuff. That is right up my alley, because then instead of going, it's like, almost like an off drummer would be like, bow, 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 bow. And a lot of these old gospel drummers, man, people that grew up in the church playing drums are usually nasty.
Love it.
Love it. And so I would always try to think like that, and they would do these, and I would try to mimic that on a harmonica. And it was just kind of like, you know, once again, putting harmonica where it never really belonged.
All right, just want to thank Isaac Corbitt again, once again, bro.
Thanks for having me, man. It's been a pleasure, man.
Yeah, I've enjoyed hanging with you, and great playing. And also, you guys, he will teach you harmonica, so check the link down in the description for his website. He's got great harmonica lessons that are forthcoming, as well as, dude, you crushed the TikTok thing.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
You know, you're the one harmonica player on TikTok.
Yeah, and yeah, it turns out they're saying I'm one of the most well-known in the. There's not many people on the internet, I guess, like doing harmonica. It's kind of like.
But you really embraced it with like duets and like collabs and like doing stuff that's not.
It's just having fun for me.
Right.
It's like getting to jam with all these people I'd never get to jam with, and then putting it out. And I'm just glad people get as much joy out of it as I do.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I enjoy it. All right, well, play us out, my friend.
Yeah, thanks again for having me, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you for coming.